Hello. Thank you for the kind invitation. And first, I'd like to forward the warm greetings from the president of the Hungarian Geopark Committee, who is unfortunately couldn't attend this meeting. But once again, uh, please receive his greetings from the Hungarian Geopark Committee. Okay, yes, giving a presentation after lunchtime is really a nice challenge. So I will do my very best to wake you up. Or let me start the timer because I have about 7 minutes in theory. So this is the next challenge for me. Okay, so now you can see several logos in this slide, and these are the geoparkians. And on the left side, you can see a logo of a national park. This is why, because as you know, every geopark has its own management body, and in our case, uh, our management body is a national park directorate. It's called Balaton Upland National Park Directorate. So this is the management body of this UNESCO Global Geopark. Okay, and now it should, okay, so some words about the location. The geopark is located in the western part of Hungary. This part of the country, it's called Transdanube in English. And okay, if you get closer, you can see the area is quite large. This is the data. It's more than 3,200 square kilometers, so it's quite large geopark. And unfortunately, we have 151 municipalities within the geopark. Once again, 151. It's normal in Czechia. Okay, sorry. So it's not so unique. Because I attended a presentation from Norway, and at the same size, they have 11 municipalities. Uh, okay. It's not so easy, you can imagine, to contact 151 mayors, for example. Okay, there are protected lands within the geopark. The green one is Balaton Uplands National Park. We have two nature reserves and several nature conservation areas as well. And of course, the time is very limited, so I won't tell you the details about this geological map, but we really have, not we, the territory has a really impressive level of geodiversity with more than 170 different rock formations. And yeah, you can see the geodiversity in a single wall. That one is Permian sandstone. This is Triassic carbonate, and that one is basalt lapillita from the Pliocene. This is just an example. Okay, I think one of the most emblematic landscape of our geopark is the Tapolca Basin with its fantastic, really iconic volcanic remnant hills. Most of them were active during the Pliocene, as I told you, and they are really popular destinations for hikers. You can see an ordinary Saturday afternoon on the hilltop on one of the volcanic hill, and this is the simplified geological story of the evolution of this volcanic landscape. And we can say we are on the world map of geotourism. For example, this is just a sample, a book about the volcanic tourist destinations published by Springer. And you can see the same volcanic remnant hills in this book as well. Okay, just an example of interpreting this fantastic volcanic heritage. Uh, 5 years ago, we created 3 new volcanic nature trails in this really beautiful part of the geopark. And this photo was taken just the day before yesterday during our very popular GeoTour guide training course. So they are the participants of this training course. And on the right, you can see Professor Harangi, who was the author of this nature trail. I mean, the panels and also yes, you can see here one of the panels. As I remember, am I right? Yes, almost 50 panels were installed. Yeah, it's really a fantastic route. The name, one of the nature trails is called Route of Fire because it's a volcanic landscape again. Okay, and a small. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Yes, I will be Speedy Gonzalez from now. Okay, so we published a booklet as well on this fantastic volcanic heritage, and this is just an illustration about how this geodiversity was born. And the next region, which is really famous for its geodiversity, is Kali Basin with this fantastic seas of stones. This is the local name for them. And one of the iconic geosites of the Geopark is this Hegyestű Geological Visitor Site, which is really a nice place if you want to see beautiful columnar jointed basalt in Hungary as well. And it was very famous in, yeah, 7 years ago. There was a big communication campaign, and you could see huge billboards along the motorways as well. And we just finished our large-scale EU project last December, and you can see some beautifully renewed geosites, for example, this Paleocrest Nature Conservation Area, and you can see new protective roof near Forrás Hill. Sorry. And another one is a Miocene abandoned sandpit in Várpalota city. And on the right, you can see uh, another, sorry, oh, time has gone. Okay, don't worry. Okay, no. So it's Schumeg, and it's really an important, again, emblematic geosite for anyone who studied geology during the decades in Hungary. So yeah, it's a really great result for us to see these fantastic geosites in this really nice uh, condition. Okay, and we created some new nature trails altogether with 43 interpretive or information panels, and we did some nature conservation works near or inside or at the opening of caves, and we published another um, 30, 32 pages booklet, Hungarian and English. It's free of charge, and you just have it now, I hope. Please read it, and yeah. And in some cases, my colleagues and me also go to the field, and we can do something for example, for removing to remove the vegetation in front of the geosite as well. And we have the most visited show cave in Hungary. It's located in the Tapolca Basin in the small town of Tapolca. It's you should imagine a really large, very long, almost 15-kilometer long underground maze, a labyrinth under a living town. It's a really unique uh, a place under the ground. And one part of this cave system is open to the public. We call it Lake Cave, and it's once again the most visited show cave in Hungary. It's really a karst wonderland. And on the surface, above the cave, there is a visitor center and an exhibit titled "The Wonderful Karst." And but one of the rooms is called Geopark Room, where our visitors can learn about the geological history of the geopark. For example, the volcanic landscape just outside of the town. And yeah, this is the landscape. How should you imagine? So this is the world of the water. So this is the huge spring of the cave system, and in the background you can see the volcanoes, the world of fires, the water and fire, just some kilometers away. Yeah, so it's really a nice place, and also a beautiful part of the geopark and the national park is the Tihany Peninsula. And yes, it's a volcanic area. Yes, it's really full of really unique volcanic phenomena. And yes, the volcanism started here about 8 million years ago. So these were the very first volcanoes in the Balaton Uplands at that time. And it's famous for its, I mean, the peninsula is famous for its lavender plantation. And this is why we built there a visitor center called Lavender House. But it's really not just about lavender, but it's also about the geological history and again about the volcanic features and phenomena of the area. And also every UNESCO Global Geopark is a member of a network, so you must do something on networking. And this is, I mean, this large panel is a tool for networking. As you can see, this is just the postcard collection from everywhere around the world about the territory, which have beautiful volcanic heritage as well. Yeah, and from the Boccon region, probably this is mo the most fantastic scientific site. It's Upper Cretaceous vertebrate site, and yes, it's really a very important one. For example, you can see. So it was published in the Nature magazine as well, and it's a closed area, so it's not a geotouristic place because it's a dangerous place, and of course the site as well is very vulnerable, and this is why the researchers, very good partners of the geopark at the same time. So during the summertime, they open the territory to the visitors. So there are 5 or 6 days when anyone can visit them and can meet the scientists. So you can imagine how many happy children visit this place during that time. And we are very lucky because within the territory of the geopark is a very long network of waymarked hiking and sighting trails. So you can see the fantastic number. So this is a very good basement for any idea relating to geotourism. And this is why we decided in 2000 and 2000 back, please. No, no, yes, sorry. So this is why we decided in 2009 that we should start a series of training courses for geotour guides, and it became a very popular initiative, and I am very happy and proud that now we are just the middle in the actual training course in the Kali Basin, and there you can see the numbers of the issued self-certificates, almost 400. So yes, it's a really great success for us, and always we are very happy to give the presentation and to meet new people there. Okay, and one of them, for example, one of the certified geotour guide is also a yoga instructor, and this is why she decided to give some additional, very unique content to her geoparks, and it was a brilliant idea, and yeah, it is just it's just an example. Uh, what what so how can it be very interesting and unique experience for anyone? And it was promoted, I mean, this geo tour was promoted on on the occasion of the International Geodiversity Day, and because we do believe in the holistic approach of the geoparks, we invited one of our biologist colleagues who were so kind to inform our visitors about the biotic uh, features and assets of the uh, area. And of course, we are there at the festivals. We have a Geopark booth and fests and festivals and give information and knowledge to the kids and the parents as well. And I'm almost ready. Yeah. Okay. This is just a nice example for involving local communities. It's a small village. We can say it's a middle of nothing. So it's not a tourist destination site within the geopark area. This village called Csabrendek. But there was an abandoned quarry, and you know, we met some very nice local people. We went there to hold a new geo tour guide training course, and suddenly we find a solution to create a new nature trail for the village, in the village. Okay, so there was nothing tourism infrastructure. It was an empty, I mean, touristically empty space, but they were very proud and happy. So we could show the light at the end of the tunnel, and now you can, if you take a walk in this village, now you can see the pillars with QR code, small prints. It was cheap and simple, and yeah, so it's really nice to see that everyone is so happy to have this new nature trail, because this nature trail not only about the rocks, about the vegetation, but about their own environment, their history, their buildings, the old church and whatever. Okay. And we are very happy to have the very first, and at the moment the only one, geological hiking map of Hungary. So once again, it has the normal content, so it has the waymarked trails and of course the geological background, and the other side, the highlighted geosites are presented in details as well. And finally, about some words about the certified Bockwenberg Geopark products. As you may know, this region, I mean the southern part of the geopark, is a viticultural area since millennia, since 2 millennia since the Roman times. And so this is why just look at these fantastic labels. It's geological sections on the bottle. So it's really a perfect geo product. And we were very happy to see that there were some wineries where they really knows what is territory. It's not just a word, because there are so many information. And yeah, uh, and or for example, look at this fantastic gingerbread. They were inspired by an Ammonite locality near the producer village. Okay, it's called Kotraboca because the locality is called Kotraboca. It's a small hill near her village. Or this is herbal tea mixtures, named after volcanism. Vulkánok lábánál means at the foot of volcanoes. Okay, so this is a series of herbs tea, and there are other local products. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, hello. Yes, thank you very much for almost keeping the time. Now I would ask your colleague, right, to present another Geopark. Okay. Which one?
This one is working great.
When you go down,
Mhm.
the slides will change.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Balázs Megyeri, and I'm here to present. Okay. Is this better? Yes, I can hear myself a lot better. Okay, so my name is Balázs Megyeri. I'm here on the behalf of the Bükk National Park Directorate, which is the management organization of the Bükk Region UNESCO Global Geopark. We are the third and newest member of the Geopark family in Hungary. And I'm gonna keep it short. So we are here in the Carpathian Basin. This is not our territory, but that one is. And basically, our geopark started in 2017, and we initially gave in our application form for UNESCO in 2019, and then there was a deferral in 2021. We gave in our report in 23, and now we just got accepted in March. Um, our geopark is situated in the north and eastern side of Hungary, within the northern mountains, and it encompasses mainly the Bükk and Uponyi mountains and the surrounding basins. You can see here in the bottom these characterized fold and thrust structures. They are mainly formed during the Cretaceous tectogenesis, and this is only the big part, and there is some going here on to the north and to the south as well. In total, it's 2,817 square kilometers and 109 settlements, including 2 regional centers and 2 smaller regional centers. In total, right now we have 365 geotopes or geosites in more English, and 40 of which we designated as regional or international significance. There is, I think, 6 of them which are international. Our brief geological history can be seen here. One of the main inviting values of our geopark is an almost continuous sediment sequence starting from the Ordovician all the way to the Triassic area. And also highlighted here, there is a visible key section which showcases the Permian and Triassic boundary, which is a really rare thing on the surface. Here is a not so simplified geological map of our big geopark. In the middle, there is the Bükk Mountains. Here is also the main national park area. Then there is, to the north, is the Uponyi Mountains. Here are the oldest stones that we have. There is also a national protection area here. Then to the south, there is the Bükk Foothills, which is an area that is encompassing the Bükk from the south. It is mainly formed during the Miocene, and it's rhyolite and Dacian tuff. And there is a lot of carvings and real carvings on the outcrops of rhyolite tuff cones, which are really unique to this area. Then a little bit of the Mount Mountains and its volcanic activity slipped in here. Then here up, there is a sandstone basin, the Pétervásári sandstone basin, or otherwise known the Vajdavar region. Then we have some mining heritage with two coal valleys. And there is a little bit of the Great Hungarian Plains in here as well, where, for example, these petrified trees were found, which are presented in Ipolytarnot. That I will be talking about in another presentation in, I think, an hour or so. Okay, to reiterate, our main values are the diverse and rich karst phenomena, particularly in the Bük plateau. Then we have around 50 caves which has some archaeological significance. 4 to 6 of them have prehistoric man remains, and 2 of them has to be highlighted. One of them is the Shubayuk cave, where the first example of the Neanderthal people were found within the Carpathian Basin. And the other one is the Seleta cave, which is a name giver of the Seleta culture. Then in the Bük foothills, there is a unique stone culture I already mentioned. This is part of a Hungarian designation called Hungaricum, which is like a unique presentation of Hungary. Then we also have this Anna Travertine cave. All around the world, there is this size or bigger. There is only 6 caves. This is not a crystal cave or limestone cave. This is made out of travertine fallen from a waterfall continuously for the last 200,000 years. So in short, come visit us in the Bük region UNESCO Global Geoparks, where stone tell a tale. Listen to it in the echoes of the caves, see it from our peaks, and experience it with our wonderful local communities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Yes, please. Thank you. And now I would ask Martina Páskova to come introduce Czech geoparks. And I will follow with a short introduction of Geopark Barandien because you are in Barandien Geopark. Okay, so
Okay, thank you. It's working. So I will try to be as rapid as possible because in Czech Republic, as you know, we have one UNESCO Global Geopark and 10 others are just national geoparks. But altogether, it's quite enough. So I will just fly so very, very rapidly. So I don't know. Okay, so in Czech Republic, I already mentioned we have a National Geopark Council, which is organizing all these things, coordinating the certification of geoparks mainly, and revalidation, of course, and of course, advising minister on strategic points, how to support geopark. It's now very actual issue, of course. Czech national geoparks. As a Slovak Republic, this is something which is not in all the world. National level of geoparks, it's mainly in Asia. In Europe, it is not so usual. Germany, of course, we copied it from Germany at the start of our initiative because we thought it's necessary to continue on the UNESCO global level. But anyway, we discover the national level quite important and interesting and useful because you can prepare geoparks before they aspire to the global level. And of course, some area not they don't have such a high, for example, geoscientific level, maybe for the UNESCO Global Geopark, but you can make a very good business on the local level or national level in Czech Republic, and I think it's also very useful for local people to have some geoscience popularization. We, of course, stress the also the bottom-up principle. This is something which is very important for us. But on the other hand, it makes produce a lot of problems, as anybody knows. Because if you don't have staff, you don't have money, of course. We know that in many countries they are using national parks and protected areas which are from the central protection of the nature, but in this manner you are in a little bit problem with identity of the geopark. So it's always kind of balance how you manage to implement the bottom-up principle. But we are trying the best in Czech Republic. So the problem is, of course, with the financing and with the support by municipalities. So, as I mentioned, we have 10 national geopark, or 11 if you want, because the Bohemian Paradise is also national. It has also certificate of a national geopark. So this is just example of the certificate of National Geopark, of Highlands Geopark, Sochina. Minister is normally giving this certification to the geopark team. You see the geographical distribution of Czech geopark, so it's quite balanced, I would say. Of course, we are missing some geopark on South Moravia, my region, so I hope that in the future we will have, for example, Moravian karst, which is very good candidate. You see, of course, you see Bohemian Paradise as well as only UNESCO Global Geoparks, and you see the biggest geopark in Czech Republic, Barandien, which will be presented by my colleague Pavla. So just example how it looks. So we have all national geoparks together here. We could finish in this point to be really rapid. So the criteria are pretty the same as a UNESCO Global Geoparks, maybe a little bit easier to be implemented. We try to celebrate, of course, the European Week of Geoparks in May or late May, starting June. I gave one example of cross-border. That's why I started, because we are here also to solve some cross-border management of geopark, which is also very difficult task. Of course, this is not from Visegrad directly, but very close, still in Central Europe. So I think it's a good example. And I also start with this because this is the oldest geopark. The idea of this geopark started before EGN was founded. So it's very, very old and very actually good geopark. I think the cross-border cooperation is quite good. It's very large, as you see, more than 7,000 square kilometers. And it has 3 geoparks included, 2 geoparks in Czech side and one on the German, Bavaria. So you see that I explained these geoparks. This is the national geopark area, and this is the second previous national geopark because it wasn't recertified. So they failed certification or revalidation. So now they are just, let's say, local geopark. but they are still part of this cross-border, this big cross-border geopark. This area is, of course, famous mainly because spa. So these springs and these thermal springs are, of course, connected to volcanism. So you can find easily evidences of volcanism and also paleontology. Of course, the mining history. And there is also protected landscape area, which is cooperating with the geopark very intensively. So this is one of the example what they introduced for the public, the medieval mine of Tena. So I think it serves fantastically for the public to explain the medieval mining. Another geopark to show you a little bit closely is Iron Mountains Geopark Železné hory in Czech. And I show it closer because they tried to aspire on the UNESCO Global Geopark, but there was a kind of problem, mainly because they are private company. And it is really problematic for UNESCO to give the name of UNESCO Global Geopark to some private company. But anyway, it's one of the best geoparks in Czech Republic. They have fantastic management, and they have all the geological possible era of Czech geology, all the possible kind of phenomena you can find in Czech Republic. So it's a very good idea to study Czech geological here, Czech geology here. So you can manage in 3 days to have a kind of imagination about the Czech geological phenomena. They are a private company, but they do non-profit environmental education 2 decades or maybe longer, and they are really fantastic. They are doing fantastic job in this. So just one of example of their geotourism products is this heading for water, if I translate it, and you just flow the water, and you can taste the underground water, various geosites, to understand how the taste is changing because of a change geological rocks, or let's say composition of the rocks. So you can understand better the hydrogeology, hydrochemistry, tectonics. So it's a very, very good example how to make it interesting. You have also sandstone, similar to Czech, to the Bohemian Paradise, of course not so scenically striking. You can visit also with some mines because they are, of course, sediments, and you can find still fossils. Another mine, of course, not with sediments, but still interesting to see really active mine. And it is possible to go inside by guided visits. And another activity is just show you because we don't have time. Washing of the gold. This is not real gold, of course, just kind of imitation, small pieces of golds, like golds, let's say. Also important is to produce replicas of fossils to prevent the damage of the original pieces. Another geopark, national one, is Kraj Vanických rytířů, which is a very historical place full of myths, and also with the history of gold mining, which they are interpreting very well. They have produced also fantastic map. I mean, this kind of 3D map in the local school, which is really a realistic copying the terrain and composition of the rocks in Czech Republic. So it is scientifically based, of course, and people love it. And national Podbeskydí National Geopark is already in Carpathian or West Carpathian. So it's a little bit different because we are not in a Czech Massif, which is, of course, totally different. So different geology, but also different people, different culture. So they try to connect all together with the ABC concept. Ralsko National Geopark has a little bit similar geology. Sandstones, we are still in Cretaceous pen, let's say. So this is not scenically so fantastic as Bohemian Paradise, but there are also other phenomena which are connected with the uranium mining and other or iron also mining. And what is very interesting here that it was army area, so it was protected from any infrastructure and civilization, let's say. So it's of course a challenge. It's not only advantage, but also challenge to build everything um, in this geopark new. Another geopark I mentioned already, Vysočina or Highlands, if you want. Very beautiful landscape, and it's Moldanovicum, so it's mainly granite, which is a main phenomena here. So you can visit a lot of active mines, also closed mines. National Geopark Bromosko, it's a protected landscape area, and it's pretty similar phenomena of sandstones towers as in Bohemian Paradise, but maybe a little bit more wild. It's a not so cultivated landscape, and we are on the border with Poland. So this is example for the future where the cooperation with the Poland municipalities to make the cross-border geopark Goravstolova and other will be probably realized. So hopefully this is future UNESCO global cross-border geopark in this area. So this geopark, Barandian National Geopark, which will aspire, hopefully also UNESCO Global Geopark very soon, will be presented by Pavla. So I'm not going to speak about it. And Krajina Břidlice, Břidlice is Slate, National Geopark is one of my favorite. This is not so diverse geology here, but it is not, of course, just slate. There are other phenomena, but the slate is really principal phenomena here and phenomenon here. And what I like on this geopark that they have a really fantastic team of the motivated people, and I think this is the real bottom up principle. You wouldn't create something better in your dream, I think. These people are doing everything as we wish in Czech Republic, and I remember as they presented first time to the National Geopark Council their aspiration, we just were looking like really surprised, and we told you have everything already, we have nothing to advise you. So it is really very well done Geopark with all the involvement of all the possible subjects or actors in the Geopark. It's made really by municipalities, local municipalities, 5 of them, and they manage somehow to involve all the association of mining and various non-governmental environmental education institutes or organizations, schools, etc. Artistic things. They are playing and they are happy to do all these activities. So for me, it's very happy example how to do the small, relatively small geopark. And finally, the last one, but not least, of course, it's a Královská Šumava National Geopark. The specific here is that it is the only geopark which is partially in national geoparks. So they can offer kind of alternative approach for the local people, how to join kind of nature protection, if you want, activity. And I think that this geopark has also a very, very good approach how to interpret the geology, which is mainly about glacial phenomena. Here, it is also not so striking geology, but very interesting, and they are cooperating with Academy of Science and, of course, national geoparks and many schools, universities, etc. The last project is about geomorphology interpretation. So we are also quite happy with this last geopark. So I tried to be as rapid as possible, and now the final slide about a unique global geopark, Bohemian Paradise, which I really need to make as a slideshow because no time. So sorry, no comments to this. So just follow the beautiful pictures again. Of course, we have fantastic minerals here, and the landscape, iconic, iconic volcanic cones of Trotsky. Sandstone, of course, but Trotsky, it's a volcanic. I mean, yeah, just I mean, iconic Trotsky. It's really the part of logotype of the geopark. So I'm not so sorry yet for this note because I wasn't speaking about the sandstone you can see, but in the horizon you can see the symbolic volcanic cones of the Trotsky. Oh, sorry. Again, the sandstone rock cities with the castles. This is closer, so you can see this volcanic cones of Trotsky, which is really famous, maybe one of the most visited geosite of this geopark. And you can see also, this is the wet heritage, living heritage, we call it, which was rewarded by UNESCO because she, Iveta, is the only woman in Czech Republic working with this material and having this knowledge from her father. So National Council, some challenges maybe as the last words. So we really need to focus on the financial support of and promotion of National Geopark. This is something which promised, as you can have opportunity to hear from our vice minister in the morning. And we'd like also to extend evaluators team and find resources to pay the external ones. So that's why we started also cooperating with Slovak colleagues, and now we have mutual cooperation, and we use Slovak evaluators, and they use our Czech evaluator. So hopefully we can do it also with the Polish and Hungarian. The language will be more problematic with this, in comparison with the Slovak colleagues, but still we can manage because everybody speaks English now. You can see today. And we want to improve our website and, of course, updating of this website. Of course, there's much more things to do, like promotion of the geoparks in our various trade fairs, etc. We are doing our best, but it is not still enough. So I am not too sure if I was too rapid or too long, but thank you for your attention anyway.
I actually stopped checking the time, so I'm not sure if you were too short or too long. So, but because you are here in National Geopark Barandien, I will tell you a little bit about it and even give you a teaser of places where we would visit. Um, okay, here we go. So, I will try to be fast, so I will skip some slides, but also stay with some little bit longer. Here, you see where you are, but you traveled here, so you probably had your navigation and you got here nicely. Geopark Barandien, as was said by Martina, is the biggest geopark in Czech Republic. It goes from Prague to Pilsen. It's even bigger than some regions in Czech Republic. Here is nicer map, you can see that we have, sorry, we have protected landscape area Křivoklátsko, Český Kras, and also Brdy. And there is Prague, Pilsen. So you can see that Geopark is really vast. It has over 600 municipalities included, and there is a lot of work coming this way. It has over 4,000 kilometers square, extends over 3 regions. And the Geopark Barandian, as we know it today, it was starting over the years many times, but nobody was able to push it through, like the idea of such a big area. So it took quite a long time, and in 2017, our director was able to do Project Geopark Barandian. And as Martina mentioned, there are national geoparks in Czech Republic, so we got the title national in September 2020. And well, Geopark Barandian is special in one thing, and that's that we have 4 eras which you can observe when you go to the field. And it's Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, and Devonian. And well, you can walk through these epochs when you walk through Barandian Geopark. Here is team of the Geopark, our director, other people who work for geology and montanist and geology of Brdy, environmental education, but the names will probably not tell you much. Here is Mr. Barande. Joachim Barande was a French engineer, and he was tasked with building the railway uh, from Prague this way. And because people started to collect little nice things and bring them to him, like if it's something special, and the little nice thing were fossils like ammonites and trilobites, he started to collect them. He even paid the workers to like bring as many as they can. So he made the really vast collection of trilobites in the National Museum. That's the map he created. And this is what all the geoparks go through, so I will skip that one. And here you can see that the original map is not much different from the one we created. And we also divided Geopark Brandian into like regions, because that area for mapping is really hard. So the plan is that we will create maps for every region, so people can have like field trips and stuff like that. Yeah, every geopark goes through building phase, growth phase, and concentration phase, so we can skip that one. uh, Development, presentation of geological paleontological past. Yeah, we all present uh, geology and try to interpret what we have in our geoparks in the best way possible. And well, yeah, it's never-ending story. I'm going through this fast because I want to get here. As a geopark, we have a couple projects which we finished, or we are participating in, or we are planning to do. So first one, which finished like half a year ago, was a project with Magma Geopark from Norway, Geology Connect. So we had a bilateral cooperation. That's the word. Thank you. And this one is finished, but we plan to cooperate with Magma because they are UNESCO Geopark and we are aspiring. So the experience which they have is really valuable for us. This project, I was project manager of it, and it ended 30th of May, and we will go for a visit here. So remember how it looked here, and then you will see it on the place how it looks now. It will be wow effect. And we also have 4Geon project, and in that I will talk about it a little more. And we got Eastern Partnership Conference here last year, and we have some national project as well, because how you get money in a geopark is usually gifts, municipalities or grants, and we go with mostly grants. So here's the revitalization of Barbara smelter. Here you can see the plants. There is the big building, this one. Here there was new building suggested. It's built now. So as I said, teaser, you need to come on Wednesday to see. And here's the 4Geon project. The mission is to spread geoscience knowledge and interpretation skills among local and indigenous people living in geoparks and let them enjoy the local Earth heritage. Uh, part the yeah part of this project is let's say the partners of this project are from all around the world. You can see the participating geoparks here, and also here are the institutes and countries who are participating. It's quite a nice project, UNESCO project. So hopefully the results will be nice as well. And yeah, there is a portal coming on, GeoEdu game, which is online now. So if you want to check it, there's going to be a lot of information about geoparks, and languages will spread, and we will do lots of work on that one. So we also, as a geopark, participate in UNESCO voluntary UNESCO program with voluntary service Kulturweit. We already had 3 volunteers here, and I have to say it's nice to have people over, because you get to know them, you get to work with them, but it's sad to let them go because they are here just for 6 months. Uh, and geopark activities, probably the same you have. We have competitions, summer geological camps, summer camps, geological excursions. We got geoschools, and about geoschools, Stepan Rak will be talking tomorrow, so I'll skip that. And you can see here there was a competition, like a drawing competition with Wenceslav Brabek, which is illustrated by Jan Sovák. He will be talking as well tomorrow. And we received over 1,000 pictures. It was really a lot. Here you can see some pictures from summer camps. Yeah, and summer geological camps, which we have for 5 days, and they sleep home, but they come in the morning and leave in the evening. And yeah, they learn a little bit because when they find fossils, they are interested in what fossil it is, and they spend some quality learning time together. Geo excursions, we have them for seniors, for schools, for families, for adults, so anybody can participate. And yeah, cycling trips. And yeah, we also started to do geo excursions to our underground in Prague, because you can see on the tiles in the underground, you can find some fossils, even here. So that's quite new here. So they are, available for everybody who want to join. Also, there is a geo track through the sacred monuments, and yeah, geo schools, as I mentioned, tomorrow. And just some pictures. Hopefully, I mentioned everything. Yeah, and maybe Mr. Rag, who is going to be talking tomorrow, he always has these like titles of what you find when you go for geological, no, fossil hunting. So he has this little paper which says what you found, so you can take it home. You can see it here nicely. So that's just gives you, like you have a stone home, and in that stone there's a fossil, and you know the name of the fossil. So that's also nice. Here you can see geo schools. There are some like models of the fossils, some programs for schools. We also, as a geopark, try to help the schools to somehow identify their collections, because they have so many rocks and they don't know which one is which. So that's one of the things we do also for the schools. And yeah, during the COVID, Zoom, that was what everybody did, right? So a little bit, little lectures about geology, paleontology, and surprisingly, lots of children participated, even adults. And yeah, maybe something which is important. We have some information centers in Geopark, and some of them are being built. So this is planned like 2 years ahead, and this one is a really big plan where we would like to build Stemberg Center. And yes, other activities, and there I will finish. We are cooperating with destination management, so we are preparing and trying to get ready Trilobit card, which is gonna be like a bonus card. When you visit one place, you get 10% off at other place, so people will travel a little bit like a support of tourism. Trilo Bitcoins, that was an idea, but we will see about that one. We made hammers for fossils hunting, so you can borrow them from us or even buy them. That's up to you. And yes, we made Trilobite chocolates, and the Geopark virtual guide, Wenceslav Brabeck. I think that he will be mentioned tomorrow by Jan Slovak. And here you can see Mr. Brabeck. Here is the trilobit card, and yeah, some pictures. Here, hammer with trilobite. Everybody loves it. Everybody use it. Here is Mr. Brabeck in the books and out of the books. And that's probably it. So otherwise, I have just pictures and pictures, and I will not take your time. So now I would ask Mr. McAdam to have his presentation or have his lecture, and after that we would take a coffee break. Hello, hello.
Right. Why not? Because I've had enough of it being silly already. Hello, you can hear it. Yeah, good. So if somebody is going to ring a buzzer, I have 30 minutes now, I think. Is that right? Is it too close to my mouth or is it? That was okay. Okay. This is the interpretation or something. What was it called? Interpretation of geological. Yeah.
Science education, maybe.
Interpretation of geological natural wealth. It's 30 minutes.
Well, we will try this one. And you will tell me, is it this one?
Think so?
Okay. So
No, it isn't. That's geoscience education. That's something quite different.
okay. So interpretation strategy for muscle.
No.
This here is Geopark Barandian. Here is
Yeah,
Geoscience.
let's try Yeah, Geopark Brandon, that's the one, I think.
Oh.
Let's go.
And if you want to swap this one go down.
So, whoops, I have to stay here. And I'll possibly take this off in a second. So, yep, this is, I wear many hats, and I was flagged up as British Institute of Geological Conservation. That's one of my hats. I'm teach a bit, and I actually have my own sort of interpretation writing thing, which is called Earth Words. I write words. We're told you're not going to charge me for this, so take my hat off. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, so I was going to speaking after lunch. So Barney, I should have given you these, shouldn't I? Because it says Ziz. That one up there. Where do I point it?
Point computer and press down. Not up, but down.
Ah. It was supposed to be after lunch, you see, and Barney got my slot, and he woke us up, which was really good, and I really like that wine that they have, and yep, so there we go. Can you hear snoring? Right, let's get on. This is wasting time. Okay, interpretation of geological natural heritage. There is no right or wrong way to interpret anything, but some ways work better than others. And here are some ideas I find useful. I'm a geologist, I'm an interpreter. So questions I ask myself, I'll take my hat off. Apologies for abusing your bags. Why, who, what, how, where? And are you still awake? Well, I can see some smiles, so there must be some reaction there. So yeah, anybody not smiling, I'll have to sort of find another way to wake them up. So why do you want to interpret the geological heritage, this geological heritage? And if you don't know that, I think you should give up. So you must have some way, some reason you really want to spread the knowledge and the passion to people. Yep. So is it to educate visitors, to protect the geoheritage and the visitors, or just to show how clever you are by using long words? Well, I hope it's the first two, because if it's the third, you really need to talk to normal people. And imagine you're in the pub. We have things in England which are called, Sci Cafe and Pub Sci, SCI, science, and, they're great. Okay, so the next slide, I can see it there. No, you are not trying to give people long words to get lots of points in Scrabble. And all these words have been used in publications for the general public. I mean, it's cruel, isn't it? It's general public abuse to use these words. Sin sedimentary. Now, what's the English for that? Anybody? Can I point to somebody who's a soft rock geologist? There's a nice forerunner specialist over there. Sin sedimentary means, put you on the spot, of course. It was being deformed while the sediments were being formed. It was being deformed while the sediments were forming. Emplaced, that's a crazy word. That square is for sea. I mean, what does that mean? Intruded? I know why they used emplaced on that panel, because you know how much force was involved in this intrusion. Was it a passive intrusion in a space, or was it a forceful intrusion? But emplaced, you're going to turn people off. And some of these words have different meanings. So conglomerate means something quite different to the man in the street, especially if you read something like the Financial Times, to a geologist. Conglomerate is one of these crazy companies that has everything from shoelaces, I didn't have them, up to building ships. Okay? Arenaceous, what's that in English? Sandy, Sandy. That's 5 letters, isn't it? I can count. Yeah, I've got enough fingers. Instead of arenaceous, you don't need arenaceous. It's a turn off. Orogeny, mountain building. You know, you want people to read all the way through your text on your panel, not to give up and go away and get a beer. Though, of course, if it's a Geopark branded beer, maybe that's good. Okay. Who's your target audience? Normal people. Okay, none of you are normal people because you're all specialists. You're geologists, geochemists, mineralogy people, blah, 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 you know, so you're not normal people. Families, in which case it's great to write things that involve parents with their kids. And it's really nice seeing parents working with their kids on doing something geological. And obviously, some of you have already shown experiences happening. Local people. Why do you want to tell local people about your special heritage? Well, your local people, you want to get them proud in their heritage, and you want them to tell your visitors. So they're your ambassadors, they're your PR people for starters. So ask the local people what works for them. Yeah, well, I'll go for a walk now. Nah, can't find it. Not to worry. Okay, so before I left England, I just looked at one of the leaflet pack, you know, trays, racks, or whatever, in a station or whatever it was, I forget what, and just picked out the ones that actually struck me. And out of about 40, there were 3. One had a lovely owl sitting at the top of it, and everyone loves owls, so, you know, I picked that up. And there were 2 other ones. And the rest, you know, they could have been anything. They were boring. So you want your leaflet, or whatever it is, to say, pick me up! Pick me up. It won't say pick me up on the top of the leaflet. It'll say, you know, crazy trilobite people, or whatever. Oh, whatever it might be. But the message, subliminal message, will be pick me up. And they'll pick it up and they'll turn it over on the backside, because this is what people do. And they'll look at it. And if the backside's dead boring, they'll put it back down again. Okay? So the backside has to be interesting too. And the backside is where you actually put a map and you put all sorts of other information that helps people to find out more. Maybe you put a QR code to link to it. Visitors. Oh yeah, sorry, we better do something with visitors. We need lots of visitors, because if we don't have lots of visitors, your geopark doesn't have any sustainable development. Okay, simple. 1 or 2 crazy geologists coming to study the trilobites of your geopark doesn't put lots of money into your sustainable development. Foreign visitors, well, there's a problem too, because what do you do with translations and things like that? You have translations. Maybe there's cultural differences. In Iceland, for example, they don't put lots of safety ropes everywhere. Icelandic people know what to do when they come across a dead spatacone or something like that, you know, non-eruptive, and they don't sort of go and fall down it. And I made a point when I was in Iceland for the Geopark meeting to my colleague, and I said, oh, it's really nice you put a rope up to the top there. He said, John, Brynja said, we don't do that for Icelandic people. That's because the visitors, they don't know how to walk up a little volcano safely. This is a 30-foot high volcano. You know, we're not talking about anything big. Anyway, geologists. Oh, well, they're right down the bottom. Or maybe you want both normal people and geologists, visitors and locals. So how do you get your interpretation working for a big bunch of people? And there's various techniques. And I'm speaking to people that already know lots of this already. So apologies. Right, what to do? What do they want to know? You talk to them, you go their walk. They will ask questions. Ask them what they want to know. But I think they won't want to know that something is 80 million years, 80.4 or 80.2 or something. They'll want to know, how do you know that it's so old? Because 8 million years and 80 million years are the same to most people. They're a bit different to geologists. Yep. So you want, and then you just talk about Geiger counters and whatever it is. And I think we should try to explain processes, not just name products. So how do we get to this rock? Okay. And we'll do a geoscience education thing tomorrow, which helps you talk about the processes. And they'll certainly only want to know a fraction of what geological experts know. There's always the temptation to tell them too much. The extra stuff you put on your website and they go through QR codes or whatever to get that, or maybe there's other things, YouTube or good TikTok people and goodness what else. What do they want to know? Yep, somebody's laughing, at least one person's laughing, so they've got down to that, the second para there. And some people have even got down to the third para. You know, it's worrying. And this was decided quite some long time ago. The Catholic Church didn't actually think it was correct, but you know, the geocentric model has been out of fashion for a few hundred years. And the worrying thing was that when they told quite a lot of the Americans in the sample that actually it was took a year, or rather, no, they told them it was the Earth went around the sun. They said, how long does this take? And a big spread of answers. 1 year, which I think is the correct one. 1 month, there was about a third of them said 1 month, and 1 day, about another third. It really is. NSF, read it, please, and it really brings you down to earth. This is this is really frightening. So we're talking with this kind of scientific knowledge, and these are randomly chosen people. They're on holiday. So how do you do it? Boards, panels, apps, leaflet, guided trail, audio, augmented reality, virtual reality, timelines, rock gardens, all sorts of other things. Give them nice gingerbread ammonites. Give them trilobite cookies as they do in Natitejo. They're really nice. Every time I go near Natitejo, or they're going to a conference, they bring lots and lots of their trilobite cookies, and they get eaten very quickly. And then we start getting this. So why will you have trails, info points, business centers, etc., etc.? And at this point, you need to start producing a strategy. So let's say, what is interpretation? And there's a lot of very tedious definitions, and tedious people redefine the definitions in a paper 2 years later or something. But as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's information, but it's connection to what's interpreted. So it's head, information, heart makes you want to value the place, and hand, when you go back, you're actually thinking differently about conservation and looking after stuff. Now, you can measure the information that they've gained. You can see whether they understand that the Triassic went from, can't remember, whatever it is, you know, from the stratigraphic chart. You can get some idea about how they feel about your area, but you really don't know whether it affects their behavior term on. And that becomes increasingly important with the present climate crisis and ecological crisis we have. Yep, so it's up to us to try and do all we can to do more about this. Okay, so this is what interpretation helps us to do, find out things themselves. I hope. So it's not just feed me mama, stuffing information down their mouths. Use all their senses, and we had a lovely thing just now about all the different senses. See real objects. People like seeing real objects, not repros or digital. They like seeing a trilobite, and they like touching a piece of rock. So you're touching a bit of rock that's 4 billion years old, or you're touching an ammonite, and it's 180 million years old. And you can't touch it in the actual living thing, but you can actually touch something that's that old. And that's very, very powerful. Or you can touch a bit of the moon. Well, you can't, but you can touch a bit of maybe Mars, you can touch a meteorite, or a bit of meteorite, et cetera, et cetera. So where do we want our visitors to be on the continuum below? An active visitor or a couch to potato, TV, TV, TV. We want them to be active visitors, don't we? I think, anyway. Normal people are visiting for leisure, not education. Already said that. And they're probably not visiting our special sites. So I think we have to tell them about geoheritage, where they are, in museums, urban parks, in towns and cities, in shopping malls, and then invite them. So this building is really nice. It's got all this Italian stone travertine. There's some really nice structures in the travertine, sort of growth developments, and there's various tectonic structures and also. So I think we start with some really unspecial sites, really simple geology, a nice bit of anticline, and it's got layers in it. It's sedimentary rock, and also then you can talk about how can you bend rock? You try bending rock today, and it breaks. So you can talk about things happening way below, and you can talk about its layers, and you can show people, and you can get people making layers in bottles, sedimentary bottles, and so on. And I think that's really good. And the faults, and you can do that, and then you can have science in the mall or whatever it is, all these things, or you have geo-education thing, but you can have science in the shopping mall. Isn't that great? And sustainable development, we need lots of normal people, not just a few geologists. So Freeman Tilden, National Park Service, 1957, interpreting our heritage, provoke, relate, reveal. So panels should say, look at me, they're interesting, they're exciting, hey, that's a wonderful picture. And Leaf should say, pick me up and read me and take me away and study me. And so interpretation should inform and affect and modify behavior. I was saying at lunchtime, we don't want people to be provoked by our panels so they smash them up. So we want to be provoked in a different way. They're interested and excited and want to learn more. If they smash them up, probably means they don't think they're worth anything. I may be wrong. Simple language, not jargon. We use jargon when we're talking to students. So, if I'm talking to people doing BSc or whatever, I use this language. I've trained them that language. If I'm down the pub with various people, I use a different language. If my granddaughter, don't use any language at all. I don't know what she understands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Short sentences, almost staccato. You can have this any time. We'll post it somewhere to you, this thing. Active, not passive. People do not tend to use a passive tense. Okay? Action words. Explore the geology. Come with me. Let's, blah, blah, blah. All that sort of stuff. Get people finding out for themselves. Invite people to use different senses. Stroking rocks. And then if you stroke rocks, you can see the glacial smoothing. Or you can stroke a fault plane and so on. And say this polish is 600 million years old and it survived, because it's on quartz or something like that. Okay. Stories about people. Charles Darwin, William Smith, Joachim Baranda. I mean, William Smith was very similar to Baranda in that he was surveying for canals and so on. Yeah. And there's lots of other people. Okay. Layer text with a simple take-home message. That's what interpreters call the theme. So they go away with something, at least, even if they only just look at your panel for 15 seconds, they understand what you're on about. And you hope that you make it interesting enough, provoke, relate, reveal, so they actually read some of the smaller text down below. And obviously this is it's what interpreters do, it's what a good designer does. Now, please get a good designer. Don't use post-it note type boards. You know, blip, 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 blip. They don't really excite people. And can you satisfy more than one target audience? Well, I think you can. If you want to have an area is for really important stratigraphically, you put the stratigraphic section down the side and say, this is what geologists see in this quarry or whatever it is. And then you put a little annotation, you know, this for non-geologists saying this term means so and so. But the main text for most people is free of jargon. If you go to Croatia, they spell blah differently, I got told. They make it shorter. They miss out the final H. It sounds the same. So it's blah, blah, blah. So if you want to speak some Croatian, anyone know, you can say blah, blah, blah. That's blah, blah, blah in Croatian. No images, boring so far. Zzz. We're trying to communicate. We need photos, artwork, diagrams, simple ones, cartoons. So let's have some. So this is a reconstruction for two audiences, and this is the first panel inside a quarry I interpreted many, many years ago. And what do you see? That, which is a lower Carboniferous, sort of shallow marine environment, or just gray rocks in an old quarry. Well, the rocks are gray. And it was great fun getting the artist, working with the artist on this. We went to the Natural History Museum, and I said, I wanted people to see this from the gateway into the reserve, which was 20 or so yards. And he sort of eventually, a light bulb came on in his head, and he said, right, we'll have great big crinoids. Hello, it's not working. Great big crinoids from the bottom of the panel to the top, and all the other things. And it was great. I had about 15 international experts giving a hand on this. I mean, I briefed him in the Natural History Museum, and from there, he sent a paper draft to me, a pencil draft, and I sent it around all these experts, and they modified it a bit. And there's exciting things. This maybe is still slightly wrong, but the guy that was dealing with these little creatures said, oh, I've got paliniscid fish there in bits, and I've got a shark there. And I didn't know there was a shark. I did field work in this quarry. And here we are. Some of you may know what this creature is. Anybody? Hello, what is it? It's a gastropod, but it's a specialist gastropod. box the very earliest vascular plants. Really important. This is a quarry in South Wales. And so I make it more interesting. I said, breathe deeply. It has to be in English and Welsh. And thank plants the oxygen we breathe. It was a very hard job to get the percentage of oxygen in the air, in the atmosphere that comes from plants from any scientist. There were different, so eventually I just fudged it by saying a third of whatever it is, I don't know. I forget, some year or two back. But, you know, different estimates. It doesn't matter. The fact is plants produce oxygen. There was warning saying, get off the computer. Was it? No, it wasn't. Normal people ask the hotel receptionist, the tourist information center, your mechanic, would they pick up your leaflet? If they won't, start again. Conservation. I like icons, standard road sign stuff. There are nice little codes about touring, and then you find that sort of garbage on the right at the front. You know, as people walk across the beach, they see that stuff. Now, the geologists could actually cord on the back of that outcrop, and nobody would have seen it. Okay, so I go, leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but memories or whatever you want, pictures. Layered text, this is a theme. Simple take-home message. So that says Roach Rock. It's a special place. Now, people come to this because there's this old chapel, 1409 or whatever, up at the top of a quartz tourmaline tour, and that's what they come at. It's all the guidebooks. But it's interesting because it's geology. So here we are, picture of quartz tourmaline, picture of granite. And this is in a piece of granite sitting on top of quartz tourmaline. Special because it's wildlife, it's history, especially to local people and visitors for hundreds of years. So big text. So if people go away knowing that it's special for more reasons than the chapel, I'm happy. If they want to read this, they're provoked to read this, even better. If they wrote about this, read this as well, hey, we're really on a winner. Okay, and here's a local project putting back heather and wild heart of Cornwall, etc., etc. My designer loves doing these things for years. A grasshopper, which looks rather enormous. They're normal sized grasshoppers, don't worry. They don't bite your heads off. Oh, and it's a local place for young people to go in pairs to get away from their parents. And local people who can pick up this leaflet nearby will see this picture of a young man and a girl walking towards the camera and know the total significance of why I put that picture in. There was a lady nearby whose ashes were scattered in this area because local people thought that that's where she began. Okay, so that's very much very, very local. Evaluate. Does it work? So you start with, does it work the target audience? And then, so you plan it and you find out what people want to know. Then you do a draft and see whether it works. And then you're going to change it and go into production. And then when you've already got it made and done, then you see whether it did work and what went wrong. And so for your next leaflet, whatever it might be, visitor center, you can learn from your mistakes. I'm very happy. I used to give talks for Geopark. Somebody might even have heard this in what's it? Belfast, possibly at the second Geoparks conference, coming down, maintaining scientific integrity. So it's good science, but it's simple. And if people say it's dumbed down, That's fine by me. If they can understand it, it's accessible to normal people, I'm happy. Okay, that's a bit of a warning, advertisement. I'm a freelance. I work with lots of different people. Sometimes they pay me stacks of money. Very often they don't. Doesn't really matter. So next day I'm going to teach on MSc in Portugal. Week after next. But here, that's me. You want more? I read a chapter in Reynald and Brio, which I'm revising at the moment. There's a talk on YouTube, and my website needs totally revising, and there's a Facebook page. That should be enough. Oh no, this is a workshop. So I walked around and gave you a little bits of paper, and what I'd like you to do, please, tomorrow we'll have a table somewhere, and you can maybe, having made your bookmarks, and bookmarks done in all different sizes, you can either have it so it's folded over one side and the other side, so put them on the table, or you can do them side by side, the two sides, depending on what paper, it doesn't really matter. Something, your Geopark, your favorite fossil, whatever, visitor center, and yeah, we can talk about them. I hope. That'll be good. That's why I was going around with my hat at the beginning, wearing my hat as a new job. That's me. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And now we're gonna have that desired coffee break. Oh, and for 10 minutes, sorry. I've never done that, but it should be like all crazy. This is- Go away. Um, no, I've never done PDF. Lubo, můžeš sem?
Anybody?
PDF. Jak to dáš na prezentaci PDF? Yes, that's
Yeah, getting
last month.
yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Yes,
Is this-
so now Mr. Balas will tell us something about the Nogra, the Geopark, which is cross-border. Thank you.
Okay, is this one working now? Can you guys hear me? Great. Okay. All right. So welcome again. I've been asked to present the Novograd Transnational UNESCO Global Geopark as well. Imre, the Geopark manager, or the terrible Hun, cannot be here, and he sends his apologies. But he asked me to do the presentation instead. So in a really short, maybe 10 minutes, I try to keep my time. I want to introduce you to both sides of the Novograd transborder geopark, an ancient world without borders. So a century ago, a political border was drawn across the Palots ethnic group inhabited territory, dividing the landscape and separating the communities. This region became underdeveloped, affected by high unemployment rates, and its economic status even worsened after the collapse of communism and during the transition period to the democratic regimes. Historically, this region was it was just called the Nograd region, and also the current name is just Hungarian and the Slovak versions together. So therefore, the mission of this cross-border geopark was to reunite people and the landscape and to make it a prospering region again, which can maintain its heritage in the heart of a borderless Europe. Even in the early 90s, late 90s, bilateral nature conservation agencies, so from the Hungarian side, the Buk National Park Directorate, and from the Slovakian side, the institution or agency there that I have no idea how to pronounce its name, sorry, started working together and they created a cross-border geotouristic destination package linking the Slovak and Hungarian geological localities together in this area into this nice snail house shape, starting with Ipoly tunneled fossils, which we'll talk about later. The creation of the transborder Novograd Geopark started in 2005 by grassroots initiatives from both sides, and it was endorsed by governmental agencies on both sides of the border. It got its membership in 2010. It was extended by one Hungarian municipality in 2014 and was revalidated again and again with a green card in 14, 18, and 22. This way? Okay. So here it is, you can see its logo. It's the Somoskő Castle, or in Slovak is Somoska. Okay. And this is also an example of borderless Europe, because the border here, or I can use the pointer. So this part here is Hungary, but the castle itself, it's in the Slovakian part. So if you want to take your car and park, you already have to cross to Slovakia. um, yes. Then area-wise, it's 1,619 square kilometers. Two-thirds of it is in Hungary, and one-third is in Slovakia. And the population is around 150,000. And from that, around 27,000 is in Slovakia. Here you see the different municipalities. Martin already talked about the Slovakian side with the 28 municipalities. Its main center is Filakovo. And from the Hungarian side, there is 63 municipalities, and the main center is in Salgótarján. Here you can see the geological map. I don't really want to go into detail because I don't know. But I know it presents the rich and diverse geological heritage of the last 30 million years. And especially during the Miocene era. Okay, so regarding geology, there is a lot of diverse volcanism, mainly rhyolitic, dacic, andesitic, and basaltic. And also there's the Miocene Lagerstätte in the Ipoh fossils. Landscape-wise, there are a lot of rolling hills dotted by fortress ruins from the Middle Ages, and also one of them is Shamoshka. There is mining industry, quarrying, and brown coal, and because of that, there is a lot of mining heritage. Salgótarján was a mining town as well. Culture-wise, there is the Palots ethnic group and its connected traditions. And regarding to religious and pilgrimage sites, there is Szentkút, which is translated to Holy Well, which is a Christian holy place. And also there is the Stupa of Tar, which was consecrated by the Dalai Lama, and it's a Buddhist center. There are two sites of international recognition besides the whole Geopark area, which is Holdokő Old Village, which is a UNESCO Cultural World Heritage Site, and also Ipoh Fossils, which is holding a European diploma title. There are several kinds of protected area, so Natura 2000, nature conservation areas, protected landscape areas, and national monuments. This common and shared layout of the Geopark, which was created by its hardworking members, is a way to connect the two severed regions together. And here you can see some of their visitor centers. There is Eresztvény in Salgótarján Eresztvény Center. There is the Novohrad Tourist Center in Filakovo, and also the Castle Museum in Filakovo. And on the Hungarian side, there is the Geocsodák Háza, or the House of Geological Wonders. And last but not least, there is Ipoh Fossils. It is the main operational area of IMRE. It is operated by the Big National Park Directorate, and it's truly a unique site where you can see the footprints of ancient animals preserved, and also some petrified trees as well. And it was the start of the Hungarian archaeological research in some aspects of Hungarian archaeological research. Okay, then onto the management side. In 2009, there was two sites coming together. So from the Slovakian side, there was the Geopark Novohrad or Novohrad Association, and also the Novigrad Tourist Information Center. While from the Hungarian side, there is the Nógrád Geopark Association and the Nógrád Geopark non-profit company. And together they formed the committee of the Nógrád Geopark. This changed in 2010 and all the way until now. It is only the Nógrád non-profit company. And due to its regulations, it cannot include governmental stakeholders. So it's felt that the restructuring is needed, and now they are working together with necessary actors to form an EGTC, or yeah, that's the English name, and the ETT is the Hungarian. So to make the cooperation easier between the two sides of the border. So thank you for your attention. Hopefully I didn't say anything wrong because I got given this presentation in the morning. But thank you for your attention.
And we thank you for your presentation.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to say, but we got some dissemination material about our geopark and also the Novigrad Geopark at our table. So if you would like, please take some.
Okay, so now we would ask again Mr. McAdam if he could come and have his workshop or lecture. And when he finishes, we will have Mrs. Štědrá, and then you go to dinner. And yeah, I will have time for the bus for tomorrow later on. Okay. So which one? Okay, so geoscience education.
So, Pavla, I've got half an hour now, have I?
We got like, if you can, half an hour, 35 minutes.
I'm joking. 5 minutes. Come on. Sorry. Okay, time's going a bit crazy. So, geoscience education. Yep. Let's go to the next one. Oh, yes, look. This water bottle was given to me when I gave a workshop in Idria 11 years ago. And they've got this wonderful logo of the mercury droplets. So, yep. And so I've used this all around the world, lots and lots of different sort of presentations are turning up in different places. So, hey ho, they're getting free publicity just because they gave me a bottle. I forgot to bring the T-shirt. I should have worn the T-shirt as well. Okay, let's get on. I've got 3 minutes. Well, what happens in your countries? So what I want you to do, please, is to maybe write up on, let's have this one as education, shall we, or something. I think it's supposed to be education. I wave my arms, that's why I'm hooking this inside my shirt. Okay, next one. Congratulations. Nothing. Quite likely. It's really sad. You go to a meeting of geologists, almost anywhere in the world probably, and people are complaining about the lack of geoscience in the school curriculum. Yep, exactly. You're all saying yes, and it's incredibly important. And so if you're in a geopark, you have a really big mission, a really big role to play, I think. You know, the world doesn't just consist of flowers and mammals and all the other things. Okay, and there's all the rocks underneath, and they tell us an important story about climate change, about different climates. And we can shut up, or we can try to shut up some of these idiots that take to the airways. It's very worrying. If you didn't get the idea, there's a blank. We've got next one. I think I've got 1 minute left now. Look, I'm having fun as a geologist. I was about 10. Another kid brought a perfect pyritized ammonite into class. We had an excellent teacher. And I was very lucky. I had really, really fantastic parents that encouraged me. And that got missed. And the rest is history. Over 65 years later, I still get a kick from geology. And of course, David Attenborough, well, he's got about a couple of decades ahead of me. But yeah, if you want to use me, you've got to go fairly fast, because I don't know how long more I'll be around. Long time. I don't go running for an hour and a half every day, unlike Martina, even when it's dark. Okay, so yeah. And I'd always encourage people to become geologists, because we need more and more geologists. If we're going to have a green transition, the first metal we need is tin, because lead in solder is banned by the EU, so we have lead-free solder. So the first metal is tin, and then we've got maybe lithium, but lithium with luck will disappear down the plug hole, because driving a car around with tons and tons of lithium in its battery is not a very intelligent thing to do. But hey-ho, that's all the technology we've got at the moment. And then, of course, the other things, the copper. I ask people, what sort of car do you have? Oh, I've got a very green car. I've got an electric car. Oh, so how much copper do you have in your car compared to my little old petrol car, which drove around? And of course, they have to say, electric motor, it's got quite a lot of copper. Yeah, of course. And copper, they're mining at the moment. I'm not sure what the figure is. Maybe you'll know what percentage that is economically viable for copper. Yeah.